Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to a pollen-coated episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting, a podcast where me, Jason,
and me, Jennifer,
have a few drinks
and talk shit about our kids.
Please follow us on... Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, please follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Guide to Poor Parenting.
And Facebook and TikTok at Poor Parent Pod.
Yay. And go out and wash your cars, because if you're in the Huntsville, Tennessee Valley area, it was coated in pollen.
Yep.
You were probably sneezing to death.
Yep.
And your kids are complaining about sore throats because they've been draining all night.
Yep.
Miss Jennifer, how's your week been?
It's been okay. I don't know if I said, but I did not get the other job, the job that I had applied for.
I don't think you had, last time we recorded, I don't think you had done the interview yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I interviewed and then I didn't get the job. And when they put me in the room, they were like, you said too much about the work that you would be doing. And she said that you could see people's eyes glaze over. And
yet
I
the
didn't see
interview
that.
Before, they said you didn't talk enough.
Yes. So I don't know where the middle ground is there. So, but I did apply for another job, same company, but in a different department. So I would be no longer in the department I am right now. And that would be interesting because I've been in the basement pretty much my whole career with this company. Because, you know, you have the basement, first, second, third floors. And so it'd be nice to be able to go find a window and see what the weather's like outside before you leave.
Touch or be able to see a tree.
Right. So I'm just waiting on that to see if I even get an interview. We'll see.
I keep my fingers crossed.
Yep.
I did not sacrifice a goat for the last one, so I apologize.
That's okay. And you don't have to sacrifice one for this one either, because I don't want any animals to be harmed in the making of this podcast.
Even a hua-hua?
In my, not even a hua-hua, which is a chihuahua.
In Jennifer's language.
Yep. How's your week been?
My week has been good. My mom, sorry, I'm chewing on the microphone. My mom's eldest sister, Faye, who Jennifer's met, and I'm sure I've talked about on the podcast. Sweetest old lady in the world. She's turning 90 on May 2nd. So she'll turn 90 a week from tomorrow, because we're recording this on Monday, the 28th. And
My second's Friday.
Nope, you're right. She's turning, it must be the 5th? 6th. I don't know, whatever Tuesday is.
I got you.
Tuesday, a week from tomorrow. But she's...
I just know that because the 1st is my birthday, so I definitely know what day of the week that is.
You are right. But she's turning 90, and Mom has been talking about going to see her sisters again, and I told her, I was like, I can take you, but I don't have a ton of vacation because I got to go... Zane and I are planning our trip to Japan later this year. So I told her,
she won't let me go on.
Nope, not our anniversary trip.
And I ain't got to stay with you.
Then why come?
I mean, like, stay in a hotel with you.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do all the fun stuff with you.
But, so we called Faye last week, and Mom was in the car with me, and bless her soul, Faye can't hear a damn thing, and she was just screaming at us, so, you know, asking how we were, and Mom was kept telling her, like, Faye, I'm in the car, and Faye didn't hear her, and so I finally was like, Faye, we're coming to see you for your birthday, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, I'm gonna call your mom right now, or as soon as we hang up. And I finally was like, Faye, she's in the car with me. She's like, she is. She was so excited.
That's
it was
funny.
So cute.
That's exciting. I'm so happy that you get to see her.
Yeah, but she was. I talked to my mom earlier today, and she was like, oh my god. Faye is super excited because she's like, we're gonna have to have the whole family over, and Mom's like, oh god. Maybe not, but we'll see.
Yeah,
because it would only be my Aunt Glenda's children who could come over, because all their cousins are like, you know, 80s and 90s.
Yeah, so but you really don't want any. Yeah, you're there for your mama's sisters.
I wouldn't mind seeing my cousins, but I mean, they all live. We got an Airbnb. We got a 3-bedroom Airbnb because we weren't sure if my brother was coming. So we could technically fit like everybody if it was just my first cousins who are in the Houston area.
Yeah.
I doubt they'll want to come over though, but we'll see. I told mom I was talking to my mom a few hours ago, and she's like, "Well, I guess we could." I was like, "I'm fine with that. You have to coordinate it, mom," because I'm like, I'm going, but I'm having to work. I'm bringing my work setup and my laptops, and I was like, you have to plan all this stuff.
Yep.
I was like, I can drive you at lunchtime and like after I get off of work, but I'm doing the best I can.
Everything else is
Up to you.
Yep.
So hopefully, like one of my cousins will be like, they're all my cousins. I am the baby of all my moms. No, I'm the second youngest cousin of all the kids, all the first cousins on my mom's side. And all the ones that are near where my aunts live are retired. They're all like in their 60s.
Yeah.
So they could come over and see, but who knows if they will or not.
Right.
So my aunt, the other day, I was talking, my aunt Glenda, the one who's not turning 90, she just turned 87. I was asking her how her son was. I was like, "Oh, how's Dan, your son?" She's like, "I don't know. He doesn't call me that much." And she was like, "He's just super busy." I was like, Aunt Glenda. I was like, "I am a busy woman." I was like, "I am running a podcast, and I got an 11-year-old, and I got 2 kids that always need help. I still got time to call your ass and check in on you." Mm-hmm. What's his excuse?
That's right.
And she's like, "You're right," but although
she can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, she can't do nothing about it. But I also know most straight men are not going to call their mothers that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, life is pretty good. Job's pretty good. I'm kind of sick of the pollen.
It's not. It's getting better.
Yeah, this is probably the 3rd week it's been really polleny. And it's probably the least of the pollen coated ones, but it's still like our yard looks like a madman's hairdo. It's so crazy and overgrown and just grows so fast.
We had so much rain because it was Panoply.
Yep.
Which is an art festival kind of thing that you can go to downtown Huntsville.
And it has a reputation of every year that Panoply happens, it rains.
Yep.
And it did technically rain on Friday, the beginning of the festival.
It did. But Sunday when we went, it was nice. It was hot, but it was nice.
And we went to dinner right next to Panoply, and it was really pretty.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and then the way that dinner happened, when we were walking back to the car, we got to see the fireworks. So that made me very, very happy because I love fireworks.
Yeah, me too.
That was on Saturday, and then we went to Panoply on Sunday.
Yep.
So it was a good weekend.
Surprisingly, so yesterday, we're recording this on Monday, but you came over for dinner, and we had my mom over too, and I got to about 7-ish, I think, and you left, and I took my mom home, and we were sitting on the couch together, and I was like, I am so damn tired for some reason. I don't feel like we did a ton on Sunday. Like, we walked around Panoply, we grocery shopped, and then I cooked. But like, that's not a huge meal to me anymore because I've done it so many times.
Yeah, but you didn't really sit down. You didn't get your nap. We went to brunch. Then you went shopping. Then you came home, and then
I don't know
So
It didn't feel like I had done a ton. So I don't know why I was so tired.
Will
that may be
out.
But we were sitting at my mom's couch, and she had her blood pressure machine right there, and because she has chronically high blood pressure, so I was like, I'm gonna check it real quick. You will never guess what my blood pressure was.
107/91.
Too high.
Oh.
It was 96/60.
Damn.
I was like, that is low as hell.
That is very low, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, woof. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. So I took it again, and it was like almost the exact same number. Mom took hers. It was like 159 or something. Hers are always so ridiculously high.
Yeah.
But when I got home, I was like, God, I was like, let me check it on our machine. And the first reading was 127. And so I took it, I waited a second. I took it again. And it was like 110. So I'm like, okay, that seems a bit more reasonable. But I was still really shocked by that 96.
Yeah. So, definitely.
The pitfalls of being a man in your late 40s.
Yep. But, you're working out. You're trying to lose weight. and you're reducing your blood pressure medicine because you had lower than, I guess, normal results. So
Yeah.
hopefully you can get off the medicine and then you'll just be back to, normal or whatever.
Let's see. My doctor did call and say I can't cut off the cholesterol medication just yet. I was like, oh, no.
Well, I mean, you got to kind of wean yourself off a little bit on that.
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, Miss Jennifer, what are we drinking today?
Well, before we start saying what we're drinking, you're going to hear you're going to hear noises because we are a working...
It's a working kitchen.
It's a working kitchen. Got the baby crying for some milk, and we got Miss Kalia over there sniffling because she's doing her homework. Ish. Her math stuff.
Her math tutoring homework.
So if you hear like the chair squeak or the sniffle or her asking us what 7 times 7 is, and then you'll understand what's going on. You'll understand what's going on. We just wanted to say before we started. You want to say hi, Kalia?
You want to come run over the microphone and say hi real quick? So normally we kick Kalia out. We give her tablet and say, go to your room. But do it on Jay's mic. Just get right in her face and say hi.
Hi. I'm glad she didn't spit on me.
That's true.
Yeah. No, thank you. She asked if I wanted her to spit on her. Yeah. But we were doing it on a Monday because this weekend was just so packed that we wanted to go ahead and do the
season finale, baby.
The season finale. So to answer your question that I interrupted you on, our cocktail today is a wine. It is Members Mark. Jason got it at the Sam's. And it is Old Vine Zinfandel from Lodi, California. Not really sure. But it has a 14.5 alcohol by volume.
Wow.
So that's a pretty
potent
high
wine.
Yeah. It's getting better the more I drink it,
Yeah, we did
taste-wise.
We did the cocktail review before we did started doing the podcast for those of you who actually follow us on Instagram and you see our videos. And it was a tad bland. It's opening up a bit.
Yep.
It's still pretty sweet though. I mean, compared to like our favorite, the bourbon barrel. Yeah. I can definitely tell. Like, it's not like overpoweringly sweet, but I can tell they added some sweetness to it. To go anytime I see jammy on the bottle description, it's like, okay, you're sweetening it somehow.
Yeah. Well, fruit sweetens anything, anyways. Yeah. And they said they added a lot of different types of fruits to it. So
I will say this is better than the Malbec we got, the Members Mark Malbec. Because I was at Sam's with Zane a few weeks ago and I bought a Malbec and this Old Vine Zinfandel. They were like $6 or $7. And the Malbec was not good. Ugh, I did not enjoy that.
Well, I mean, that's one of my favorites, but
yeah,
it was bland and just not.
Yeah, but this one's growing on me. I'm liking it.
Yeah, me too.
All right. You know what? I didn't realize I didn't put any breaks in the outline. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
All right.
And we're back.
Hello.
Did you miss us? I still wonder what if we're actually getting ads stuck in.
Benjamin messaged me the other day and he said he didn't hear ads on what he listens to.
Is he on Amazon Music or something else?
You're going to make me look it up.
Okay, don't worry about it. I was just curious.
It was actually, I guess he sometimes listens on 2 different ones. So let's see.
Because I like when I upload the files to our hosting service, which is called Blueberry, it lets you put in markers so it knows where to stick in ad spots. Yeah. And that's why I have to, when Jennifer and I are recording the podcast, I'll be like, we're going to take a break. And I'll literally hold my hand up and count to 5 slowly just so I can find it in the file more easily. But I don't know, I can pick a range of genres of shit that will get for ads to be inserted, but I have no clue what's being inserted. Yeah. So if any of our listeners are hearing ads, let us know. We're kind of curious.
Definitely. So he was listening to the latest podcast about the misheard lyrics because I couldn't remember one of them, and he said that the Chandelier song, when it came out years ago from by Sia, he thought she was singing about I'm going to swing from the chimney. I just pictured a music video of her swinging from different chimneys outside people's houses.
Chim chim chiroo, baby.
Yeah, and he said, I still don't hear ads using Amazon. When I heard it last year, it was either with Apple or Spotify because he used both at the same time.
Okay.
So he's using Amazon now, I guess, but he did hear it on Apple and Spotify, so...
Yeah, like for all our listeners, we're sorry about the ads, but like we're trying to get some ad revenue or some.
Right.
We're still not making any money on this podcast, but we're gonna. So for our dedicated listeners, this is actually the end of season 5. I cannot believe we've been doing this for 5 whole seasons. Mm-hmm. We had a year break in the middle of season 1, but we've been pretty. I'm really proud of us because we've been killing it. So. The big things coming for season 6 are we're going to have a phone number, which we're going to introduce when we get to season 6. Mm-hmm. And we're hoping all our listeners will call in with stories about their kids or if they have questions or advice.
Or topics that they want us to talk about since a lot of them don't want to email us.
Yeah. So I'm gonna call all my friends that are all the people who have been on the podcast and it's like, hey, would you call and leave a voicemail? And we're gonna play them. I'm gonna figure out how to play them live on the podcast so we can hear them.
Or if they don't want us to actually like have their voices, we could read it too. So.
Yeah. Well, the instructions will be in the voicemail greeting.
Right.
And also I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to set up a better website, like a true guide to more parenting.com or something like that.
Right.
Because the one we have right now is through the hosting service and I don't like, it's okay, but it's like, I want something a little bit better.
A little bit more user-friendly
and then for season 7, I think I'm going to, while we're doing season 6, I'm going to set up a Patreon.
Okay.
So for our dedicated listeners, if you want to support us, it'll probably be like no ads, maybe a day early.
Extra content, maybe.
Yeah. If we start getting phone calls, I was telling Jay, I think it'd be fun to do like just a phone calls edition where we just listen to phone calls and comment on them.
Yeah, so, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Can you believe we made it 5 seasons?
No.
Because I think I think we started this in 2021. That's when we started.
If we took a year off, then maybe 22.
Oh man,
I'm not sure. It don't matter.
I know, but I just can't believe we've been doing it this long.
Right.
I am impressed and proud of us.
And finding people to be guests.
Yeah.
That's like the hardest thing to do.
Thank God for shenanigans. They're like an endless supply of them.
And, just saying, hey, and other people who's been on, but like, hey, you got friends, and
please be on my podcast.
Yeah, when we were at Pan Play, we actually saw Tim Miller. He was on the podcast, and he's doing the morning show on Saturdays now. So, with was it 98.1? I think
with WZRP.
No, WRHP.
Oh, okay,
or something like that. But he seemed to be doing good. But we told him we need him back on because he got a kid in college now.
Oh my God!
And so
I was just looking up our on our website. Our first episode premiered on March 10th, 2022. So
I figured 2022 since we took a year off.
Yeah, God, I can't believe we've been doing this long.
Yeah.
Go us.
That's right.
We're awesome.
Woohoo!
And we hope for all our dedicated listeners out there, Benjamin, and all our listeners in Saskatchewan and Ontario. Apparently
and Georgia.
Yep. And Ontario is actually overtaken Saskatchewan.
Oh, wow.
So thank you, Ontario.
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever cities, whoever in Ontario, I don't know what province. It's the province. I can't look at the cities, but.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you like us.
Yep.
Or you're just making fun of the dumb Americans. It's fine.
We didn't vote for Trump, by the way.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
we might ask you guys to come, for us to come stay with you for a little bit.
Seriously. Actually, if there's anyone in Saskatchewan or Ontario that would like to be on the podcast, please email us. We would love to hear from our neighbors from the north.
Definitely.
That'd be so awesome.
And tell me if me saying Canada bothers you, because I don't know. I just somehow got that in my head, and it might have been in a movie, but I don't remember. But yeah, so season finale, what we're going to be doing is kind of going back through.
We're doing if this were RuPaul's Drag Race, this would be a clip package.
That's right.
We're doing playing clips.
Yep. So we're just going to kind of talk about like our guests, the Reddits, the topics,
the shit we can remember because we don't remember much.
Yep. So if we remember incorrectly, sorry.
Yeah, call in and let us know.
Yeah, not yet. You gotta wait till season 6 for that. But
I would say email in, but none of y'all do that.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
All right, so I do know our first guest for season 5 was my coworker Lisa. Actually, was working with her today, and I was telling her that we were finished up season 5, and I was telling her thank you again for doing it. And I remember like when Jennifer and I were putting this list together, she's like, "Now, which one was Lisa?" I was like, "The coworker." Remember the dogs? Because Lisa was our first remote podcast we did. No, Jeremiah was, I think.
Yeah, Jeremiah was.
She was our first remote for season 5.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
And we were recording in my office, and she was curled up on her couch with her dogs.
And they were so pretty.
Yep.
So they were like what I remembered. So it's like little things that I remember, because you were like your coworker, and I'm like, which one? And I was like, is it the one with the dogs? And he was like, yeah. And then I was like, New Jersey. That's where she was from. Like, you know, kind of like remembering things once I remembered the dogs, because they were so pretty.
And I think her story time was about like her son started crying because he was covered in ants and didn't move.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was her story time, but I remember that story time.
Yeah. And then we had Miss Jessica from Shenanigans back on. I actually volunteered with her this last weekend. They had this kid who's been volunteering with them for, I think he's doing community service. And he's really cute. He's 25 years old. Adorable kid. But we had there was a show, and it was 2 lesbian comedians and a gay comic. And the gay comic, when he got done, came out and talked to the what do you call it? The concession stand to talk to us. And I was trying to talk to him about comedy. Bye, Miss Kalia. Thank you for doing your kumon, honey. Oh, shoot.
Wow.
Oh, well. We locked the kitty cat out from the recording area, and he just escaped back in. So hopefully you won't hear the cat chewing on cords.
Hopefully not. We'll see.
But I was sitting there talking to the gay comedian, and he would answer my questions and then immediately just go back to the cute 25-year-old kid who was working. And I was like, young man, or I was like, Mr. Comic, that is a straight boy who has no interest in you.
That's funny. Now, we took Kalia to Shenanigans for their
Savory Cinema.
Savory Cinema. So we did they did Spaceballs. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they give you snacks and drinks that are kind of related to the movie.
What's on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when Pizza the Hut came on the screen, they gave us pizza rolls.
Right.
And when they gave us something like Ludicrous, I think there's a scene in the movie where they go to ludicrous speed. Mm-hmm. And I think Ludacris, the performer, had some sort of like chicken parm with chicken nuggets or something shit like that, and that's what they gave it. They gave us like chicken nuggets with mozzarella.
I mean, that was yummy.
Yeah,
and the drinks were good too, and so that was a lot of fun. And we had to kind of explain like Mel Brooks's sense of humor when it came to black people.
Well, and like after we were done with that, she and I were quoting that all night long. It was like, "Kalia, you found anything?" She's like, "I ain't found." She knows.
And the scene we're talking about is when the
they're
Darth
on
Vader character, I can't remember.
Dark Helmet.
Dark Helmet. It said, "Comb the desert," and you got the white people with the big combs, and then you got the black people with the pick. And So that's the
Yep.
scene that we kind of explain, and then they have a little inside joke now. So
I will say, as much as I love that movie, all the references are so fucking dated.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is such a Gen X movie because, like, you had to. It was she enjoyed it because it's so slapsticky and stupid.
Yep.
But like so many of the jokes where she's like, "What is Perry Air?" and
Yep.
she didn't get the salute they do with where, and they don't do that anymore where they raise the arm up to flick off.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember when we stopped doing that as kids.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the alien from Aliens
Yep.
coming out of the stomach and dancing across the
And the Planet of the
Restaurant.
Apes thing
Yeah.
where they come out of the Statue of Liberty's nose. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, Jesus, these are some old references.
Definitely. But yeah, so Jessica, she's awesome, and
Man, we love
she
her.
just has. I mean, we say we're busy; they're so much busier than we are. It is so crazy how much stuff they do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always bitching to Jennifer about like how stressed out. Not the podcast doesn't really stress me out that much. I don't particularly love the social media shit that we have to do for it, and I'm really bad about posting stuff. I'm pretty good about like producing it, but putting it out there, I hate doing for some reason. That's the one thing I fail at, and I apologize to all our listeners who actually care about it. But like Jessica runs, her and Kim run this goddamn improv comedy. They are there like every weekend. They produce and they put on shows, and they are also full-time workers. And I'm
they
like,
have kids.
teenagers with special needs, some of them. So I'm always like, I feel stressed out just for the little bit of work that we do for the podcast, and I really don't feel like there's that much. They do 4 times as much. And
Yeah.
I'm like, how are y'all not just like killing each other?
Right.
But
And if I had the know-how or the software, I might offer to help, but I just let you do all that. I just sit here and talk and drink. That's my job.
I will say though, I may take a page out of their book because I've gotten addicted to this fucking game on my phone that Zane got me into. And it's one of those ones where you click a button if you like need a little more time on the level you're on, you can watch an ad. And I'm getting shenanigan ads.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So I think they did the sponsored ads on Google or Facebook or something, and it follows me through my cookies. So I'm like, oh, maybe we should do that for the podcast.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But after Miss Jessica, we had Miss Gwen. Had her back.
Had her back. She's got 19-year-olds,
20 by now.
20-year-olds,
Yep. They'll be 21 this year.
and they're still living in the house.
Matt has pretty much moved out. He's living with his girlfriend.
But I think he comes back.
Yeah. He's still,
forth,
his address is still her house.
Yeah.
But, and I found out so I ran into Gwen is, for our listeners that are kind of new to this episode, or new to the series, the podcast. Can I say the goddamn word right? I was in Big Brothers Big Sisters for 10 years and I had my little brothers Matt and John, and Gwen was their mom, and so she's been on the podcast. She was our second or third guest for our first season, and this last year or calendar year, my little brother Matt had been working for a defense contractor in town, and I didn't realize that it was his aunt who helped him get the job.
Okay.
And I ran into his aunt when I took Kalia to church, the gay church here in town, because
Okay.
she was there.
Yeah.
Matt got laid off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're gonna move the warehouse facility they were doing to a different area in Alabama, so they had to lay everyone off.
Oh, that sucks.
And I think maybe something happened to her job too, but she was singing his praises, because Matt was always the one we were a bit worried about because he
Right.
had bad ADD, and I think he had oppositional defiant disorder too.
Yeah.
But he's really turned himself around, and
Good.
John's the one we're kind of all worried about now.
Yeah.
But yeah, but unfortunately, ever since that episode, I really haven't heard from them. I feel a little bit bad because I'm so good about keeping in contact with my aunts and uncles. But I told the boys when they turned 19, I was like, hey, I did this for 10 years. I was like, it's y'all's turn, and I haven't heard from them since.
Only on birthday and Christmas.
No, I didn't even hear from them this birthday or Christmas.
Oh, wow.
I know. And I even bought them a Christmas present. I was just waiting to hear from them, and they never
Oh, wow.
So I was like, all right, well, I love you boys, but I'm going to hold out. So if you're listening, boys, I've got a Christmas present for you.
Yep.
And then we had my sweet daughter, Miss Kiki.
Yeah.
I feel like I knew a lot of her story because I adopted her and because I see her so much, but I didn't like a lot of the story I didn't know. So it was really good to kind of,
especially how bad that social worker was.
Yeah. So for our listeners who didn't listen to her episode, Kiki is my adopted daughter that I adopted as an adult after we had gotten Justin because she was in danger of losing custody of Kalia because of the shitty social worker they had.
Yep.
And
because they moved her like 3 hours away, Kalia 3 hours away, and Kiki didn't have transportation.
And they didn't offer her help.
Yep.
And she didn't know what she was supposed to do. So the social worker's like, well, we're going to terminate your rights because you're not trying hard enough. And the judge was like, well, no, you need to step in and like offer her help. So she started going every weekend to go see Kalia. And then I stepped in and was like, okay. If I asked a lawyer, what's funny, I don't think I told you this though. Kiki and I went down to Tuscaloosa to go talk to a lawyer down there. Uh-huh. And we were like, if I adopt Kiki, would they give me custody of Kalia? And she's like, yeah, they probably should. I can't guarantee anything, but they probably would. But she's like, I can't go into too much detail because this lawyer had been contacted by the grandmother of the person of Kalia's biological father.
Oh.
Or Kalia's paternal grandmother. And I don't think it ever went anywhere.
Right.
Because I don't think paternity ever been established. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's like, I can't represent you in this because I've already been consulted by this grandmother.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, wow. So,
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it slipped my mind. So
that's crazy. But yeah, she's trying to move up here.
To Huntsville.
Which I've been on her since they adopted her. Yeah. But the grandbabies are the cutest, 4 and 2.
Gonna turn 3. The youngest one's gonna turn 3 in July. And the older one's gonna turn 5 in November.
Yep. And they're just
so sweet.
So sweet, but so full of energy.
Oh my God, they tire me out.
But bad. It's so cute. Auntie Jay and Papa, and it's just...
Yep. I'm going to try and get them... I've been trying to track down swimming lessons in the Coleman area so we can all go... I can teach them how to swim. Mm-hmm. But, I want Kalia to learn how to swim better because she's not the most confident swimmer. But I just realized I had a good thought. Kiki is not the most confident swimmer either. So I was like, why don't we get Kiki and Kalia into swim lessons together so they can learn together to be more confident?
And or the girls, too.
Well, I'll take I'll see if I can handle both of the girls together and then the little ones, and then they can take, or maybe Zane and I we can go down together and handle the babies while Kiki and her mom go to the advanced swim lessons.
There you go.
So that's what we're thinking.
Yeah, that'd be good because you don't want to keep on, because Coleman is a good bit away.
Yeah. Well, and there's
45 minutes, but we don't have enough time in the day to breathe, let alone you're going to be going every weekend to do swim lessons. So
yeah, I mean it would be just for a few weeks, but even still, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
and then the next guest that we had was someone you found.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed meeting Irvin.
Yeah, he is a sweetheart. Him and Julio. We're still trying to get Julio back on.
Yeah, back on, but on.
Well, yeah, he was sitting next to Jennifer.
Yeah, he was sitting with us, but he didn't. He has an accent, and he feels like no one would understand him. And I was like, dude, I understand you perfectly.
Oh yeah,
good.
he's fine. If the Canadians can understand our southern drawl, then they'll understand your Puerto Rican.
Yep, I don't have no southern drawl. Shut up.
Oh, sorry, that was the cat.
Yep. But yeah, and his story was very interesting as well. Just the them having a baby, and then the mom of his baby turning into a lesbian, and he turned into a gay man, and then It's just
That was probably the most interesting, like,
crazy story.
yeah, that was a crazy story.
Yeah,
But it was really good.
I liked it. I mean, it was not something that you hear, especially like if people like break up or get divorced. I don't think they got married, but I can't remember, so I'm not gonna put words. But just that they would do that and be in each other's lives and like, you know, and they are all together, and the kids look so cute because I got to
Oh my
see
God, they're
pictures
so precious.
of them when we got done with the podcast. So yeah, that was a fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun episode.
They talk about being busy. I like every weekend. I'm like, hey, do y'all want to hang out? And they're like, oh, we have the kids this weekend, so they don't want to hang out for some reason when they have the kids. Probably because they think we're gonna do something like adult oriented. I need to like invite them over just for a bonfire when they have the kids, but. When they don't have the kids, they're playing softball tournaments. And they're like, oh, you should come join us in the field. I'm like, I don't
Is there shade?
There is shade, but I also don't want to watch amateur softball. I love them. I'm just like, I'm not a sports person, so I don't give a shit.
That's very, very true. Yeah.
So, but then our next one was from Miss Maria. We have known her for, me and Zane have known her for since the old house.
Right.
Because when Zane and I were at the house we were before the one we're at now, our neighbor.
Been, 6 years?
Yeah. Our neighbor across the street, Catherine, who's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
We always have a Christmas party, and she invited her friend Maria over, and Maria is just a doll.
She is. And then she agreed to be on the podcast, and she is so sweet, like
just kind and nice.
Yeah, and then her kid turned 5.
Yeah,
I want to say.
And she sent us an invite.
And sent you an invite, and then I crashed because Kalia really wanted me to go to Chuck E. Cheese, but then I let you go talk to the adults, and me and Kalia played all the games, and then I got to play my basketball. 'Cause anytime I go to anything like Chuck E. Cheese or Main Event or Dave and Buster's, I got to play the basketball game. And even with a broke finger, I almost beat the high score, so I was very happy with myself. But yeah, we were there shooting aliens and Halo, and we took a picture where they do like a little sketch with Chuck E. Cheese, and it's on my my work wall.
Aww.
And and her kid was the cutest. Like,
so precious.
Just met him, and he looked at me, and he was like, "Can I go play?" And I was like, well, you'll have to ask Mama or Daddy if you can go play, because I'm not sure if it's time to go play yet. And he was like, okay. But like, just for him to like just, randomly
so
like
cute.
ask me, and we just met, like, I felt special because that was the cutest thing in the world.
Oh, if you hear rustling, I'm trying to get more wine. Yeah, I was so tickled when she invited us, because at first I was just like, I'm not facing the microphone. I was like, I was kind of surprised because, I know Maria, but from the parties, but we're not. I wouldn't say we're particularly close.
Yeah.
So, but it was really nice because, you wouldn't play with Kalia, and I was like, well, I'll just talk with Maria, and then Catherine came, and we were all just kind of shooting the shit. Yep. And I was tickled, though. I was sitting there talking with Catherine, and this contingent of older, very well-off black ladies came in, because Maria's black, for our Instagram followers, and it's just like, oh, who are the rich aunties that just walked in? And,
right.
And Catherine was like, well, her mom was like a big wig at UAH or DuPont or some shit like that. And I was like, wow. It was like a whole parade of Prada bags just walked in.
Oh, wow.
I was like, damn,
I
girl.
didn't see that. I was playing with an 11-year-old. Because I'm a big kid.
Yes, you are.
I will let you be the adult, and I will go play with the kids.
I will say, though, our next guest, Miss Alyssa, that was a fun one.
Yes.
She was, again, thanks for Shenanigans for being an endless font of parents that I can mine the podcast. But Alyssa was a burlesque dancer.
Yeah. Or is.
Is a burlesque, yeah.
Yeah.
She's not dead.
Hot.
Yeah.
Hot cocoa.
Haute cocoa.
Haute cocoa.
Yeah. But she was really cool. I feel a little bit bad because after the podcast, I was like, hey, could you email me like a promotional picture so I could like include it in the, include it as a picture for our Instagram. And she sent me this beautiful picture, but it is like really filtered and her face is really far away. And it was really hard to like pick her face out. So I was like, ooh, it was a beautiful photo, but I was like, I don't know. It was really hard to see her face. I would have had to like either zoom in or it would just look like a mass of purple with our background.
Right.
So I went on her Instagram and I just snagged a photo.
I'm sure she doesn't care.
I know. And sad thing is I haven't even posted the Instagram post for it. So
okay. Well,
I'm sorry,
that's
Alyssa.
That's on you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, my Facebook, I followed her on Facebook and I got to see a little snippet of her dancing. I don't know. I couldn't tell what the song was because it was just a small little clip. But I was like, "Go, girl!" But she was just like so like I want to say well-rounded. As for some reason is what is the word that's coming to my brain. Like she just did so much different things. And then like
she's had an interesting life.
Yes, definitely. And I really, really enjoyed meeting her.
Yeah.
Because you meet them at first and then you're like, okay, this person's going to be on the podcast. I'm like, okay, let me talk to them, that kind of thing. And then next, well,
our last guest.
Yeah, was Miss Tanya, who is your future sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I did mention to her, I was like, that when they get married, if they need an officiant, I would go get certified or get registered. And Kyle, my brother, texted me like right after about an hour out of the podcast. He's like, "Oh my gosh, Tanya told me you would be willing to officiate. That'd be awesome." So I was like, "All right, I guess I gotta go get registered as an officiant in Alabama."
Just go online.
I was telling my mom about that, and she's like, "You can do that?" I was like, "Well, I mean, it's just like you just pay the money, and it's kind of like being a notary public, as far as I can tell."
Yeah,
but
I don't even think it's that as much as the notary public.
No,
I think it's just
it's like $25.
You go online and you're like, okay, you're ordained.
Yeah, I mean, our friend Ken did it for so my friend Ken, he did it for his friends, and he's like, there's nothing special. I mean, beyond his wonderful personality, there's nothing like he had no qualifications to be an officiant. Right. And I like when Zane and I got married for legally in New Orleans, I paid my friend Michael's officiant fee for Las Vegas for Louisiana.
I thought Feige did it.
No, it was Michael.
Was it Michael?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
So, and talking about guests.
Yep.
Feige has agreed to be our first guest for season 6.
Yay! So about time.
So
We've been talking about him since season 1.
My God, Feige has the best stories.
Just because he's had quite a life.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. Oh, I will say, I'm so grateful to Tanya because I was hurting on trying to figure out who to get on to be the guest because we were like desperate, and I can get a little procrastinating sometimes getting guests.
Can you?
I can. It's true. So it's a good thing I'm not running a real business like Shenanigans or something like that.
Right.
It would have collapsed. I will say, so when Jennifer and I were putting together this outline of stuff, we were going through the topics that we talked about this season.
Yeah.
And we don't remember barely any of them.
No. Remember more guests than what we talked about, like topic-wise. Stress was one of them.
Just because we have both, like...
This has been the most stressful season that we've had. And not because of the podcast, but just because of life outside of the podcast. Mm-hmm. This has been the most stressful for, I want to say both of us.
I would agree. Jennifer, it's all because of Wesley.
Yep.
Her dear, dear son. For me, it's been mostly work.
Yeah. And then also doing more after school activities with Kalia and having to do all of that. And getting all that situated.
And dealing with my mom's move last year.
Yep.
So, yeah, it has been a challenge.
Yeah.
And Jennifer was always still a curvy woman, but now she is like rail thin. How much you dropped? 30 pounds?
Yeah. I'm at 143, I think.
So she's always had a booty, but she ain't got no booty no more.
I lost my booty.
She's as flat assed as I am now.
It's sad. It's like, why can't you lose like the belly, not the booty? I don't know why that went, but that did. But I'm gonna try to get it back.
And I'm developing TMJ because my dentist is like, oh, you seem to be grinding your teeth. And I was like, am I? And then like a month later, my jaw has just been so sore and I guess I must be doing it while I'm sleeping. But
right.
I'm just like, I've had days where I'm like, oh, I had to take a muscle relaxant because it was hurting so bad.
You need to get a mouth guard?
Not yet. I will. Well, I don't know. The stress level's been so much better because I've been exercising regularly. I started seeing a therapist since Jennifer got Wesley. I've been trying to get her into a therapist to no avail. But I started going to a therapist finally myself because of the stress levels. And one of the things I wanted to do is like starting to get into the habit of working out regularly. And I'm not as much as I want to. I'm only doing twice a week, but I'm doing more than I was. And I will say it has paid off a lot because my blood pressure has dropped significantly. And I'm feeling my energy levels are way back up. I like never want to take a nap now.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But then you also don't eat a full meal.
True.
We share our entrees sometimes.
We do sometimes. Although you're gonna start eating it by yourself now because you got to get the meat back on them bones, girl.
Right? That's very, very true.
But yeah, so we were trying to put together our list of topics that we remember, and it was like we talked about stress. We talked about each of the holidays we went through, camps.
Yeah.
Because Kalia's going through 2 camps this year. She's about to. So we're recording this April 28th. Kalia goes to space camp in 1 week.
On Sunday.
So Mom and Zane and I are going to drop Kalia off, and then Mom and I are going to drive to Texas right after. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and I'm trying to take her. Work is there's a soccer club now here in Huntsville, and I love soccer, and it used to be the old baseball stadium, and they redid it, so I really want to see what the stadium looks like too. And I'm trying to get us tickets through work to see if we can do it that night, that Saturday night on May 3rd. It's going to be a Star Wars kind of theme because of
cool.
The May the 4th be with you and Revenge of the Sith and all that stuff. So
I will say I'm kind of jealous. Like Jennifer offered to. She's like we were walking around Panoply yesterday, and she's like, would you? And she was like, would you, Zane and Clay, would like to go to the soccer stadium? And I was like, or go see a soccer show. And I was like, I kind of want to go into the stadium, but I have no desire to see a soccer match because I'd just be on my phone being bored the entire time.
Yeah.
So for the people who are not in Huntsville, since I moved to Huntsville, there was a minor league baseball field. I think it was the Stars is what they were called.
Yep. Huntsville Stars. Now they're the Trash Pandas.
Yep. They got renamed to the Trash Pandas.
And they moved. They built the whole new stadium.
It's
for
beautiful.
them.
And I've been out to that one.
Yep.
Bored by that game though. But since I moved here in 2009, there was this old abandoned minor league baseball stadium called Joe Davis Field Stadium. And I mean, I taught my little brothers to drive in that parking lot. I would take them over there and I would let them sit in my lap and I would let them steer the car. When they got older, I would just let them drive the car. I trusted them enough to do that.
Right.
But like they closed off the parking lot, so I couldn't do that with Kalia anymore. And they revamped it, and it's like this whole. It's beautiful now. It was a shithole back, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's really nice now. So
Yeah, but they tore down one of the theaters. We've had two of our theaters torn down
I know.
within the last few years. But
So,
Madison Square 12 is the one that I miss the most.
Yeah, there was in Huntsville. We had this one theater right in front of the old Joe Davis Stadium, and it was a pretty good one. I liked it, but they tore it down, and they're building something new there. I'm not sure what they're building now there.
Yeah.
But the one Jennifer's talking about, the Madison 12, we had this one giant mall. We had two malls. We had two malls. We had the Parkway Place, and we had Madison Square Mall. And when I moved to Huntsville in 2009, it was already dying, and they tore it down 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah, probably.
And they built it's called Mid-City now, and there's a giant amphitheater there, which is really cool. But to build the amphitheater, they had to tear down probably the best movie theater
I
in
would
town.
say.
Yeah.
I love that movie theater.
It was the first one in town to have the reclining seats. You could eat, you could order real food.
Right.
And sit it. Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Me too.
But
back to camp. Clea's doing space camp for a week.
And then she's doing the sleepaway camp from the nonprofit APAC.
That we went through to adopt.
Yeah. And all the, with the exception of Kiki, all the kids we have done it.
Yeah.
Because Justin did it and Wesley did it. And
now Clea's doing it.
I know. I wanted to slap the shit. I may have said this before, so Benjamin remind us if I have. But when Justin did that camp, I drove his ass 2.5 hours away.
Why didn't you put him on the bus?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't remember. At the time, I had a reason. I just don't remember what it was. I think he didn't want to do it with the bus. And I was willing to drive him. But it was a 2.5 hour drive down to near Montgomery, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's like outside of Montgomery.
So I get him there. We're pulling in the driveway. He's like, do I have to go? I'm like, yes.
I drove all this way.
I drove 2.5 hours. You're fucking going to this camp.
That's
if I have to kick you out of my goddamn car.
That's right.
So he got out, had a blast, and then he took the bus back. Thank God.
Yeah, so you didn't have to drive all the way there and then back again.
Yeah. But Wesley did the bus every year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he loved it. He always had a really good time. I got him one of our, like back in the old days, how we had our the disposable
film
cameras.
yeah,
that you had to go get it developed. But I also got him one that he could use underwater.
Wow.
So in case he like was trying to take pictures of himself underwater, his friends or whatever. I don't know what he was doing, so I was like, let me make sure it's waterproof, kind of in a way. And he has some of those pictures up in his room where someone took a picture of him and the friends and the I guess it was the guy that was over their cabin. I've never been to camp before, so I really don't know much about it. But I know they have like adult, or they have teenagers that were in the program before, and then they volunteer to be camp counselor. That's what it is.
Yep.
And so there's a picture of all of them, and he always had a good time.
Yeah, I think Cleo will have a good time too. I will say the one thing we're battling with Cleo on right now is just a fucking, she will be having a good day, and then we'll be teasing or playing with each other, and you just say the wrong thing and it sets her off, and she's just a grouchy,
right,
unpleasant to be around grouch.
Yep.
And it is we've been dealing with this all weekend. We had a great time at Panoply. I don't even know what was said, and it set her off, and she was just...
she was a grump to get to the car.
Oh, yeah.
And then she was a grump when we got back to the car.
Mm-hmm. And then she was a grump later that night when we asked her to set the table.
Yep.
So, yeah, it has been a journey of grumpiness that's what are we doing that's setting you off? Because she won't tell us. She just starts getting pissy for no good reason that we can tell.
Yeah, it's just torn.
Oh, Jesus. 11-year-olds.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I know no one writes in. Hopefully someone will call in for season 6. I'm hoping that if we start getting enough phone calls, we can actually stop doing the topics, because you and I are like, when we first started this podcast, I was like, oh, we're going to have an endless array of topics. Like, I am dying to figure out what the hell to talk about nowadays.
And we've talked about multiple ones, because when they grow, the topic, even though it's the same topic, it still changes.
Yeah.
Because they change.
Yeah.
But, we don't want you guys to get tired of us talking about
same shit over and over again.
Right. And repeating ourselves possibly, or, whatever. But, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But I will say the one thing I'm glad we did this, I think we did it a little bit last season, I think. But this season we incorporated it entirely into the show, was the Reddit post. I really enjoyed those.
Yes. Me too, because mine was always a blind reaction to that.
Yeah.
But the siblings topic was fun, just to be able to talk about. Well, you have a brother, but
I have a brother close to my age.
And then I'm the oldest, and I was 18 when my half brother was born, and then I got 3 stepsisters a little bit later on in life. So only child until 18, and then all of a sudden I have 4 siblings and a whole bunch of nieces and nephews, which I'm not complaining about, but so it's nice to see them grow up, and there's love there too, so that's really nice, that we have that.
I will say it's been fun over the years to see the dynamic change between Kalia and her. Not fun, but it's interesting to watch the dynamic with Kalia and her siblings.
Oh yeah.
Because, she went from an only child at 7 to being having siblings and dealing with that. And like she, I think she loves her sisters, but at the same time, she's like so used to being an only child. Mm-hmm. And with us, she is an only child.
Right.
But she has to compete for mom's attention. Mm-hmm. Her sisters are toddlers and drive her insane. Mm-hmm. And we're always forcing her to fucking share her toys. We're like, I was like, will you please let your sisters play with your Barbie while they're here? And she gets so goddamn pissed off at them.
But she doesn't even play with them anymore.
I know. And then I was like, we're not going to let them take them. Just need to let them do something, please.
Right.
They're driving us all crazy. But, she gets so fucking butthurt about it.
Yeah. And then if they're laying all over you, then she's got to lay all over you because she gets jealous. And it's a whole thing, and it's funny. Yeah. Not funny, but like...
interesting.
Not funny, haha, but like... Yeah.
Yeah. Funny as in gallows humor.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I will say the Reddit posts have been interesting this year. Whenever I am reading through Reddit, I try and find stuff that's kind of appropriate. Like the first one, like Jennifer and I were looking through all the Reddit posts we read this year, and like, which ones do you remember? And it's always the ones, like the more recent ones that we actually remember, because we have such goddamn terrible memories.
Yes.
But I will say, when we were picking them, the one where it was like the mom was like, "I'm done."
Yeah.
Because that has been Jennifer's favorite saying for the last 2 years. Like, I'm done.
Not my favorite saying. Just something that I've said.
A lot.
But, yeah.
And then mine have always been like either parents sick of plastic shit like I am, or, oh my God, I'm going to slap the shit out of my daughter for being a preteen.
Right.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And then the inappropriate language, like, where is that line for you? It's like, you can't even listen to, like, back in the day, if you listen to the radio, everything was bleeped out.
Yep.
Maybe not damn, I think.
I don't remember.
But now you listen to the radio, and it's damn shit, like, I would say, like, probably motherfuckers not, like, banned, not said, but, like, there's a lot more curse words on radio now than there used to be.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I am a sailor in my heart. I grew up with cussing. I am a cusser. But my mom told me around 12, I know you're not going to cuss, just don't do it. around adults. And I still kind of not necessarily follow that. Like, I try not to cuss around my mom. But I still kind of use that. I gauge who I'm around.
Yeah.
So if I'm around someone new and I don't know if they, if they don't like cussing
you have
stuff,
to read the room.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though I'm probably older than they are now, but I still around your mom, or if we're at her place and we had dinner one time, I would not have cussed, only by accident.
Yeah.
If I would have, but it's not I still kind of follow that rule.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't talking about cussing. I don't really cuss around Kalia a ton. Every now and then I'll slip out. But I'm also I don't know, my day to day, I don't think I'm a huge cusser.
Yeah.
I probably cuss a bit more around you just to be dramatic or funny, but it's not like I'm not dropping F-bombs constantly. Mm-hmm. But I will say it's been funny with Kalia, just the evolution of am I allowed to say this? Pissed. And I'm because there are some words that they're not cuss words, but they're kind of considered crude. And so I'm I don't mind you saying that around pissed, crap, damn. I'm fine with. I don't care. I was I wouldn't say them around grandma or nana.
Or school.
Yeah, don't say them at school.
Yeah.
And if an adult says, don't say that around me, respect it.
Right.
But for me, I'm fine with those because they're kind of cussing light.
Yeah.
And I don't really mind them. But my friend Judith, who we've had on the podcast, she lets Judy Booty. She lets her kids cuss up a storm. She's just don't use it as an insult and don't do it at me.
Right.
And I was that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when Kalia hits high school, I'll probably be I don't mind if you cuss so much. Don't aim it at me.
Yep. And I mean, and Judith's son is around high school age, middle high school age. So
wait, say that one more time.
Judith's son.
Oh, Judith. No, Judith's 14. His 13.
Well, middle school.
Oh, so I heard. You're right. I heard high school.
So she's still elementary, so it's a little different.
Not to some of these kids. I remember her.
Well, no, I know, but I'm just saying, with how you are using Judith's way of thinking to Kalia's way of thinking. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I remember when Kalia was at her previous elementary school, she would get cussed out by second graders in fourth grade. And I was Jesus. It's a rough school.
Yeah. But again, if parents don't explain, I think it's the most part.
Yeah. Well, kids will follow your example.
Well, but I don't know, because my father, well, especially in the car, my mom used to be a cusser, not hardcore, but she used to cuss a lot in the car.
But did you cut when you were high school? Did you cuss around her?
Well, no, but the first time she heard me cuss when I was 12, and I didn't know she was there.
Well, no, I know, but when you were in high school, when you were a little bit older, were you cussing in front of her?
I've never I've never done it on purpose.
Oh, okay.
And if I do, I'm so sorry, Mama. I did not mean to say that. I apologize.
Okay. I thought
I don't even like to say hell in front of her unless I'm actually talking about heaven or hell.
Okay.
I don't cuss around her because she does not cuss, and I follow.
You read the
her rule.
Yeah. Well, I knew that you didn't do it now, but I thought
I've never.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Maybe you did it and then stopped because she stopped.
Nope. She just heard me say fuck because I hurt my finger and I said fudge. Told her I said fudge and she's like, you didn't say that. And I was okay, sorry. No, and then she just said don't. And then that's when the conversation was I know you're going to cuss because you hear it from me, your father, classmates, all that stuff. But don't do it around adults or, at school, in front of teachers, that kind of thing. So, and I follow that. Like I said, she's heard me cuss more the last couple years than she probably would have ever, just because of Wesley. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't on purpose. purpose.
Yeah.
It just slipped out,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I will say, that was probably one of the more spirited topic
Yep.
discussions. But the one that kind of stuck out in my mind is where we actually kind of disagreed a little bit, because normally Jennifer, like for our listeners, Jennifer and I usually are pretty copacetic and
Yeah.
like eye to eye. But the Reddit post about how do parents look at Girl Scouts and don't think it's a scam, and I was like, I think most things kids do is a scam, especially like travel ball.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that is just a money making opportunity for these fucking coaches, and it's a giant fucking scam.
Yeah.
And Jennifer's like, no, it's great. And I'm like,
Well, Girl Scouts, okay. I can see that.
you can see the scam part.
Yeah. It was the sports part. That's where we disagreed.
See,
If the kids enjoy it and maybe possibly want to do that for college, like that helps them out so much. Yes, it's some extra money, but it looks good on paper. That's what we were.
That's the thing.
That's
we actually,
what we were kind of the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, whatever. And it was never either one. I
will say, like, they both teach good things, like, sports, working as part of a team. I think, and like working and dealing with failure and success and that sort of thing, I think is really good for you.
Have people yelling at you.
Yeah, and learning to cope and stress and that kind of thing. But I just feel like travel ball especially, I just find scammy as shit.
Yeah.
Now, Girl Scouts, I don't know, like, I understand where they're coming from, because like in America, we're fucking nickel and dime. Like, we get paid more, like we don't get taxed as much, so we have to pay for it ourselves. But it's like, I'd almost rather be taxed a little bit more and have the government provide more services like they do in Europe.
Well, and on that one, the guy was like, why don't you just have a website and deliver my cookies to me? Because why make these kids sit out in the cold or the hot or the rain or the wind outside of grocery stores to sell fucking cookies?
But, I mean, in that, it raises money for the for the troop.
Website.
But, I don't know.
And that way you can get that shit year round.
I mean, you can get them year round.
Well, the knockoff ones, yeah.
Well, I mean, knockoff, like the...
Keebler or whatever.
Well, because Girl Scouts contract with Nestle, they contract with these companies to make them, so it is the same cookie.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it doesn't have the Girl Scout brand on it, but it is the same cookie.
Well, then don't make them kids sit out there in the cold or the hot or the wind or the rain.
I don't know. I think it's.
Oh, we're arguing on this one too.
I know, but
I don't remember us arguing on this one.
I find Girl Scouts less scammy than Travel Ball, just because I feel like the values they teach are like community service, working with a team, self-reliance. Those things I'm like, okay, I would rather my kid do that than me spend $5,000 a year on them going to Travel Ball, where they may or may not get a sports scholarship.
I just don't want them to have to be outside of stores. That's, I guess, my whole thing.
Yeah.
Do everything else. Do the camps, do the badges, whatever the fuck they do. I don't know. I was never one. That was not my jam.
Well, I will say, like, at least for Boy Scouts, I can say this. Being an Eagle Scout, which is the highest level of Boy Scout you can be, and I don't know much about Girl Scouts beyond like the cookies and the badges, but at least for Boy Scouts
and Troop Beverly Hills,
and Troop Beverly Hills, the Eagle Scout thing is like, it's almost like being in like a less douchey fraternity, and that like my friend Michael has gotten interviews and shit, and it's something to talk about in interviews, and it's like a true fraternity almost for Eagle Scouts. So I don't mind. I think Girl Scouts is less scammy to me than Travel Ball. But
okay,
yeah.
Anyways, back to another one that we liked. The one where the kid was asking, "Is it okay if I go on my trip because I get straight A's and I just need a break.
Yeah.
And the mama was like a stay-at-home mom or some shit, and she just was like, no. And I was like, baby girl, run. Because she was 19 years old. Like, at that point, go have fun.
Well,
Especially if you do good and everything else. Go have fun. That's what your teenage years, are about. I remember that one because I was just like...
Well, I think that was one of those ones where it was an international case because they weren't American.
Yeah. Well, it was wasn't it that the mom...
I think she was Southeast Asian, wasn't she?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. It's like, if you're doing that good and you need a fucking break and she had like a close to 4.0 average.
Right. And she had a job.
Yeah.
So she would just pay for everything. She's not asking mama for money. She's just asking mama to go on a weekend trip.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with it. Yeah. I do say, let me make sure. I'm looking at the post again. I think she's in Southeast Asia. So, like, I think I do remember this one because, like, there was another one we talked about where, like, there's probably a lot of societal expectations we're not familiar with.
Right.
And it's just like, I can't really imagine what it's like to deal with that. But I don't know. It was an interesting topic to talk about. I will say that.
Yeah.
All right. So our last one, which I thought was an interesting topping point anyway, from the adoption subreddit about struggling with ethics, and it was like struggling whether it's ethical. They said they were looking to adopt an older child for foster care who has already had their parental rights terminated. We're both black and would like to adopt a black child. She said she was just becoming aware of how negative and icky adoption can be. Mm-hmm. The alternative, of course, is aging out of the system. And this is where I was like, we've actually talked about this before with Jess, not Jessica from Shenanigans, but Jess from our support group.
Right.
About adoption is like, even in the best case scenario, mm-hmm. adoption always starts with a tragedy.
Yes.
Where they get pulled away from their family.
Yes.
So it never is always a rosy picture.
Nope.
But it doesn't stop it from being necessary in some cases. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, for older kids who are TPR'd, I think that is probably the best case scenario.
Right.
Because they are the ones who absolutely need it the most, mm-hmm. who are the hardest to adopt. And who, especially older black kids, like, they're the ones who are more likely to age out of the system and end up in the criminal justice system.
Right.
So of all the questionable things about adoption, like, for these people, I remember just being like, why not?
Yeah.
Now,
the thing that hurt me the most, because, I didn't think of it this way, but I knew, you've lost everybody in your entire life. And I cannot imagine having lost all my uncles, aunts, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, like everybody at one time. Mm-hmm. That's like crazy. But when the guy was like, for the kid, does adoption day feel like a damn funeral? And I'm like, I don't know if adoption day feels like it, but I bet you they felt like it forever. Like, they mourn their family mm-hmm. every day. And you have to remember that they, had that family and they lost them all.
I mean, the best analogy I would probably say to that, it is probably like finding a beautiful flower in a field of shit. Yeah. It's like, your life is hard. You lost your family, mm-hmm. but there's one tiny little ray of sunshine. Right. Where it's like, okay, someone wants me. Right. Someone's going to be there for me. Right. So
I'm not moving from this foster parent to this foster parent to this foster mm-hmm. parent and then just losing them too, which also is more trauma on the kid. So, yeah.
And if you're in Alabama, when you turn 19, you age out and you're fucked. Yeah. It's like, good luck. Yep. You're homeless now. So.
Crazy.
Yeah. All right. So I think this is probably a good spot for a break. What do you think, Miss Jennifer?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll be right back. And we're back.
Hello.
Hello. Miss Jennifer, I cannot believe we made it through season 5. Miss Jennifer is so sleepy right now.
No, my head's hurting a little bit.
Is there a barometric pressure change coming, you think?
Probably.
Okay. Well, for all our listeners, if you have any funny stories about your kids,
or if you need some bad parenting advice, or if you have any ideas for topics,
email us at guidetopoorparenting@gmail.com. And next season, be sure to call in.
That's
we'll
right.
We'll have the phone available.
Yeah. So I introduced the wine. What did we eat during what was our snack time?
So yesterday when I was grocery shopping, Zane and I were walking around Kroger's here in Huntsville, and I was trying to figure out what to get. And we headed down the snack aisle, and I saw these milk chocolate covered pecans. And I was like, "Oh, that sounds pretty good." So I don't know. What do you think? Do you like them?
I'm done.
Yeah, I am too. They're yummy as hell.
And with the wine too, that was like the perfect combination. I was I liked them a lot.
We when we started right before we started the podcast, my husband was like, "Oh, do you want to try some of my pickled carrots?" And I was like, so there's a Mexican taqueria here in town that has these pickled carrots that are phenomenal.
Yep, and I always get extra vegetables just because
they're so good.
Jalapenos and onions and carrots, and they're so good.
And last time we had them, I looked at Zane. I was like, "This is what you should learn how to pickle." So as soon as we got home and we were recording the podcast, Zane went and got all the shit to make the pickled carrots and jalapenos and onions, and they are so good.
Yeah,
they are really good. But Jennifer's like, I don't know if the vinegary flavor would go well with the wine, and I think you were right, my dear.
And chocolate, it's not the best combination, I don't think,
but
we will try that after the podcast.
All right, so we've had our snack time. Now it's story time.
Yeah, and that's your time.
That's
for
right.
Story time.
So Jennifer and I were trying to figure out what to talk about for story time.
Well, no, I thought I was trying to figure it out for me, and then you were like, "No, it's my turn." I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
So I have a little notepad on my phone where I write down shit that's happened. And okay, so this I honestly don't remember this one so long, but it must have happened when she was like 5. But when Clee was younger, anytime she had to go potty, like she's like, "Can you go to the bathroom with me and hold my hand?" Especially if it was hurting. So
and that's the pooping, not the peeing.
Yeah.
Right?
Although I remember she used to, like, if we were in a public restroom, she would like, "Can you go to the bathroom with me?"
Oh.
And she made Grandma go with the potty with her.
And hold her hand?
Just sit there with her so she wouldn't be alone.
Okay.
And we finally got sick of that shit. I was like, no more. But this particular time was at home, and she was in the restroom, and she was constipated, I guess. And so she was like, "Grandpa, it's stuck. It won't come out." I was like, "Well, baby," I was like, "Go grab some toilet paper and reach back there and like pull it out." I was like, "You're 5, probably going on 6 at the time. It's time. This is something you got to deal with."
Right.
So she's like, "What?" And she's like, "It's not working. Can you come in? It hurts." And she's crying. And I was like, "Baby, just bear down and push it out. It's going to hurt, but just push it." And she's like, "Can you come in and hold my hand?" So I'm like, "All right, fine." So I go into the bathroom, holding her hand. And then she made this long grunt. Even before I opened the door, she makes this long grunt. She's like, "Never mind. It came out."
At least you didn't have to pull it out. I mean,
oh, God.
5, but
Although,
never mind. I'm good.
never mind. It came out. But now she's like, every now and then she's like, "Grandpa, there's blood in the toilet." So I'm like, oh, God. She's like, she's got a little hemorrhoid, I think. Yeah. So.
You got to take her to the doctor for that.
Well, I've got one.
Didn't you?
No, I haven't taken her for that.
Oh, what did you take her for? Just recently.
Just her
I thought
checkup.
it was that.
No, it was just her checkup.
Oh, okay.
But
she need more. She need more grains.
Fiber, yeah. She we recently just bought cheese sticks. She wanted cheese sticks again.
Oh.
She ate an entire pack of mozzarella cheese sticks, like probably 12, 15 sticks maybe total. I think that's how many comes in a pack.
Yeah.
She ate the whole thing in 4 days.
Oh.
And I was like, baby, you got to have some. So I made Zane like give her a bunch of fiber gummies. And I was like, you are going to have a hard time pooping.
Yeah.
Because you ate too much cheese.
Yep. And then she's pizza on top of that. And so, yeah.
Because we feed her extremely healthy.
Well, she had CC's with me because we had girls night the other night. And I had a salad and then I had some pasta, and then I had some pizza, and then she had a jalapeno and some pickles. And I was like, well, at least there's a little bit of green.
Well, every time we go to Cece's, I force her to get something vegetables, just so she's not eating completely pizza all the time.
She had a jalapeno and some pickles. You didn't tell me that, so I didn't.
Oh, I didn't. Well, I wasn't going to worry about it when she was with you, but...
Yeah.
Miss Jennifer, I can't believe we've made it to season 5, the end of season 5.
I know, right?
Well, for all our dedicated listeners, we will see you again in a week for season 6.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening to another episode and another season of A Guide to Poor Parenting.
That's right. If you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on.
Oh, did I rewrite? I know I don't think I rewrote this one. No, I was going to say, well, I wrote something, but I don't know. I think I may have done this again. So it's a recap. And if you don't like our podcast, just like when our kids ask why they can't have a cell phone, even though they've broken every tablet they've ever had.
Tough shit.
And I'm pretty sure I said that one before.
I'm pretty sure too, but I'm not buying you any tablets, any cell phones, anything. Till you can learn how to not break shit.
I will say, I've been telling Kalia that her first phone would be a flip phone or something like that. And she's like, can I get a Nokia? And I'm like, yes, you can.
There you go.
Yes, you can.
There you go. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
See y'all next season.